I was at a corporate client's office and one of the employees asked me a question about Excel. And so I showed them a couple of tricks in the program and they weren't aware of them, and it really saved them a lot of time and effort to figure out what they were trying to analyze their data, and they didn't really understand how to do it very well. And so I showed them a couple of tricks. And so I thought I'd just go ahead and record these and share them with you as well. Now, I'm working on Excel for the Macintosh, but this does not matter if you're on Excel on a PC or whatever device that you're on. And this works in Excel 2007, 2010, 2013, and Excel for the Mac. They're in slightly different locations and it'll look just a little bit different, but the options are all there, and I'll show you how to use this in order to analyze, search your data, sort it a lot faster, and really understand what you've got and what you're trying to determine. So this is Excel tables, and this feature allows you to analyze your data much easier and quicker if you convert your columns and rows to an Excel table format. The way that this works is you want to convert your data to this table format. And it's slightly different depending on your version, and I'll point it out for each of the versions. But I'm going to go ahead and select my range of text. And what we've got here is sales data. So I've got my account executive in the first column, then I've got what region they're in the second column, and then I've got their quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 sales, and then their sales totals on the end. Now, standard columns and rows, and I could sort and filter these, but I can do it a lot faster and easier using this tables feature within Excel. So the way that you do this, depending on your version, is if you're in 2013 version, on your home tab on your ribbon, it will show you over here on the right hand side next to where it says conditional formatting, it'll show you to format this table with styles, and so you can select it there. Now in the version I'm in, and depending on what version you're in, it might be under the tables ribbon, and so go to that and look for the option that says, in this case I'm on the far left over here for my table icon, and it says insert table with headers, and my headers are those quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 at my total. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, okay, and notice that it instantly changes the way my table looks. And again, depending on your version, you will have a bunch of different styles that you can choose, colors that automatically shade and lighten the different rows with your data. And I'm going to go ahead and select one of these options, but you can choose whichever one you like. Okay? And I'm going to click outside of that range, and you can see that it already looks a lot brighter and easier to read with those rows of data highlighted and not highlighted. Now, the other thing that it added is all these little black arrows on my column headers. That's a feature of this table now. What that allows you to do, it allows you to sort your data much, much easier. It also allows you to filter and view your data much, much easier than if they weren't in this table format. Anytime you see a black arrow, that means that there's more information or something else that you can do. So I'm going to go in, and let's say I want to see my sales reps and see how they're doing in a particular region. And I have 20 rows of data here, but I could have 200 rows or 2,000 rows of data. If I click on the drop-down arrow, okay, and your pop-up box might look a little bit different depending on what version you're on, but the features are the same. It just laid out just slightly different here. This is actually a floating one, so I'm going to pull this over here to the right so you can see all of my data as I filter it out. I can sort very easily ascending and descending just by selecting or tapping those. Okay, can do that. Okay, and notice I didn't have to select my range in order to do that. If I didn't set this up as a table within Excel, I would have to select my range and so forth to sort, but I can do it very easily now as this table format. Now I'm going to expand my dialog box just a little bit so you can see it a little more clearly. And let's say I only want to see the sales in a given region. Let's say the West region. So I'm just going to deselect East, North, and South, and look how quickly it filters out my data instantly. Okay, I don't have to run something and wait for it to happen. It does it while I'm working on it. And now I'm looking at my sales folks just from the West region, and I can see their information very quickly and easily. Now, maybe I want to see East and South. I can select those and deselect West. Okay, and now I'm looking at those two regions. And I can select them all now if I want to see all the data. Okay, and so notice how quickly that appears real time. I don't have to do anything else, okay? And if I did have a filter on, I could say clear filter in the bottom right-hand corner right here, and it would clear that filter, okay? So I went ahead and cleared that, and I'm gonna close that. So those were text options. Well, I can do some really fancy stuff with the number filters. So I'm gonna go down here to my totals columns. I've got all of my rows showing again, and I'm gonna click on this drop-down arrow, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and keep my floating dialog box, and I'm going to expand it a little bit just so we can see it a little more clearly. And again, yours may look a little bit different. It may be white. On the Mac, they make it a black background. So, but the options are the same. Again, I can do ascending and descending if I want to see smallest to largest, and I don't have to select my range to do that. Okay, so it just resorted my data. Okay. Now, but what I can really do, which is really powerful, and this isn't so obvious, but right here under where it says filter, where it says choose one, I'm going to tap on that, and I'm going to say, I want to see my sales reps that have sales that are greater than $200,000. I don't have to press return. It automatically filtered them, and I've got about 10 that do. Let's change that. Let's make that 250,000. So I have a smaller result there, so you can see it a little better. Okay, so I've got about 6 or 8 reps that have sales greater than 250,000. Well, who's got greater than 275? I'm just going to change my value to 275. 275,000. Okay, press return, and there they are. Let's say 290,000, just so I can get even a smaller set. Who are my top reps? There's my top 3 reps. They have sales over $290,000. Really easy. Now, if you want to get really fancy, you can do additional rules. You could say greater than 290,000, or you could say less than 175,000, and see what I come up with. Oh, nobody's less than 175,000. So let's say less than 250,000. Okay, and there they are. And so now those are my top reps and my bottom reps. Okay, so again, I can be as fancy as I want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and delete that out, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to clear that one out. I'm going to clear that filter. And what I'm going to do this time, this is really amazing, and they've built this in and they've made it so easy. So out of all my 20 reps, click on that choose one, and then I love this. You can automatically say, hey, show me the top 10 reps. I'm going to tap on that, and it automatically filtered my data. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to sort it. I didn't have to extract it. I didn't have to set criteria ranges, any of that stuff. It just automatically found my top 10. It analyzed my table range, found my top 10, and I can change that 10. If I want to change that to a top 5, I can say top 5, and it'll automatically shrink it to my top 5 reps. It's really amazing. Okay, I'm going to clear that filter, and then now I'm going to say, what if I want to see my bottom 10? Who's on the bottom? Who's not performing so well right now? There's my bottom 10. Well, let's see who my bottom 3 are, and I can press return. And I think Kim, Robinson, and Lee have a little work to do. So again, I can clear those filters, and I can get even fancier, and I can do things like above average. So show me, it'll automatically go through here, throw through my totals, add them all together, calculate the average, and it's going to show me, if I say, show me who's above average, it's going to show me the reps that are above average, or I can switch that and say, show me the sales reps that have sales below average, and it will show me those. So it allows you to really filter out that data super quick, super easily, and really help you understand what your goals are, what you're looking for, and really be able to understand your data. So you can get pretty fancy. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out, and then I'm back to my full data, and you can see your data set here. One thing I did want to point out that I forgot to is that if you do set a criteria, I'll go back to that 250,000. Okay, so I've done that. When you set that range, okay, I did want to point out that anytime you set a filter or sort it, it will show it at the top of that column. So notice how your little down arrow changed, so you can tell that there's a filter on. And you can also know that notice that your row headers, it jumps 12, 13, 14, 15. It's not deleting that data, it's just hiding them from your view, and then shows them when you clear the filter. So that is your Excel tip for the day. This is Excel tables, and I hope you found that helpful in understanding your data. Thanks for watching. I'm Francie Black. For more information on this and other tech tips, subscribe to my e-newsletter. Just send an email to info@francieblack.com. That's info@francieblack.com.